There's no shortage of good handheld gaming consoles these days. You can run anything from a full-fledged Windows PC on the go if that's what you'd like. But with most of the gaming handhelds in the market at the moment, you'd be limited to one class of games. Well, not with this. My name is Prayank, you're watching Candid.Technology, and this is the review of the R35S retro handheld gaming console. Let's get the tech details out of the way first. The console is powered by a Rockchip RK3326 processor, which is essentially a 64-bit ARM quad-core processor with Cortex A35 CPU, which clocks up to 1.5 GHz. It has a 1GB DDR3L memory, supported by Mali G31 MP2 GPU, a 3.5-inch screen, 640x480, which is surprisingly good viewing angles and probably the best one I've seen in similar retro consoles. It is also powered by a 3500 mAh battery. To give you more context on its on-paper performance, the CPU is supposed to work well with smart audio devices, routers and cameras. It comes with a benchmark of 272 on a single thread and 422 on multi-thread. This also translates into real-world performance, where you'll see most PS1 and PSP games stuttering and lagging to the point you'd want to throw this console away. However, the rest of the retro games from Sega, Capcom and the likes are another story and work like a charm. Probably the reason you'd want to buy this console. And for the price point of anywhere between $80 to $90 or 5,000 to 6,000 rupees depending on the seller, it can be a value for money proposition if you like the games on board. I mean the ones that really run. For context, playing games like Taken or Contra is a breeze, as the console shines and truly seems value for money. The gameplay is buttery smooth and the screen also works in the console's favor. On the other hand, you'd be pushing the R35S beyond its limits if you try playing games like NFS, as even getting the game to start is a task with heavier titles. Speaking about games, you get a bunch of emulators that offer game titles from a variety of Nintendo and other consoles such as Capcom, Mame, Sega, PC Engine, Famicom, NEC, SNK and PlayStation. Now before I begin reviewing its build quality, let's pop up its price somewhere here again real quick. Now keeping this price in mind, let's begin. As you'd expect, it's plastic. It is orangish, hard plastic. The joysticks are not only of poor quality, but their placement is a major headache and doesn't make playing games any easier, especially if you've got big hands. The rear buttons are harder than your mobile case and work better as a protective shield for the back of your console. All the other buttons that you see here are obviously hard plastics and not a joy to play with. The joysticks and buttons are nowhere in the same league as those of PS, Xbox or Nintendo controllers, but they get the job done. We've got 3 ports here, a USB-C for charging, a 3.5mm headphone jack to escape the spinny, sorry excuse for speakers, and an OTG port, which is a godsend for people with big hands, as you can connect an external controller here. As far as the size of this controller goes, it's certainly smaller than your smartphone, but thicker than at least 3 of them piled on top of each other, probably a tight squeeze in your pockets. There's a power and reset button on the left, a volume controller on the right. Both the sides also have a memory card each, one for the games and another one for the OS. Keep these safe, maybe back them up too, as they're generic and removing either will break the console. A unit came with a 64GB card for games and a 32GB card for OS, but this can vary depending on the seller. The battery life on this tiny console is quite impressive. The claimed battery life is 8 hours, but you should realistically expect around 4 to 5 hours at best. It takes around 90 minutes to charge, and that's still impressive considering the sheer variety of games you can play at respectable frame rates. The impressive side of the console is its software. It runs an open source Linux distro called ArcOS and comes with a bunch of preloaded emulators covering Nintendo, Sega, Capcom, PlayStation consoles. Our console came with some 15,000 preloaded games, and as you'd expect, not all of them work. But most games that we have tried do seem to run just fine. That said, don't expect buttery, smooth 60 FPS gameplay, as the console will struggle to run demanding titles out of the box. You can play around in the settings and tweak the performance to get the most out of the hardware. But at that point, you'd need emulation knowledge, and the experience would be way better out of the box. We'll touch upon this subject in a separate video or article. Let us know in the comments if you'd like that. Now the only question remains is, should you buy it? Well, it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for an inexpensive alternative to a PS, Xbox or Switch, then this is it. But if you're looking for the same performance too, this is nowhere in the big leagues, be it software or hardware. This console is better suited for people looking to relive the retro gaming era or for kids who'd love to play whatever game they can get their hands on. If you want to play newer titles that will require more computing power than on offer here, you'd be better investing your money in something like a Switch. On the other hand, if you only want to shell about $80 to $100 on a gaming console whose software you can tweak to your liking and you also happen to like retro games, this console is built for you. In any case, you get what you pay for, a cheaply made gaming console with a rather beautiful screen that helps you relive nostalgia. I'd rate it a solid 7 by 10 on the money to value scale. If you like this video, consider subscribing, press the bell icon, give the video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments down below what you think of this console and if you've got recommendations of your own for retro gaming consoles that are better than this and provide more bang for your buck. If you'd like to read more about tech, head to our website Candid.Technology, follow us on social media, and we'll see you in the next video.